All right. All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Prodigy Simply Fit. I am here with a good buddy of mine, Rob Medsger, who owns 3 Strong in San Ramon. I consider Rob a coaching mentor of mine, as well as a fellow Spartan racer. We've run many a Spartans together. But I wanted to, there it is. If you guys are watching the YouTube video of this, you guys can see Rob just showed his guns here. But I wanted to kind of kick off this podcast with kind of 3 tips that you can use, especially as we're entering into the new year. 3 tips that you can use to kind of jumpstart your fitness in 2021, kind of make it a priority. And I figured what better resource than to grab a buddy of mine who, like I said, I look up to and who has helped, hundreds of clients in kind of the San Ramon area kind of get healthy and fit. So real quick, Rob, if you want to do a quick little intro of yourself and then we'll get started.
Yeah, I'm Rob, like Andrew said. I've been coaching for about 15 years now. I have a background in exercise physiology. I have a master's degree in exercise physiology, certified strength and conditioning specialist, and I'm also a Spartan SGX level 1 coach. Most of what I do is kind of your general fitness, weight loss, health, just feeling better kind of client, as well as take some of those clients and kind of train them and get them prepped for Spartan races. So there hasn't been any of that in 2020. So it's mainly just been kind of physical health, mental health, just trying to keep people fit and active for the most part in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we're recording this, we're kind of tail end of 2020, but by the time this airs, it'll be 2021. And so, obviously beginning in January, right? Everyone's setting New Year's resolutions and everyone's looking to get healthy and fit. And then I think, in our current kind of situation, I think it's health and fitness and focusing on health and fitness is more important than ever right now. So let's kind of talk through 3 tips that you would give kind of maybe a newbie or even just an everyday person who's looking to get healthy and fit in 2021. What would those 3 tips be?
So one of the first things is that when it comes to motivation, people think that it's this never-ending resource that I'm just going to tap into it every day, and that's really just not the case. So one of the first things is don't rely on motivation. Set a schedule. Hold on, buddy. See?
We got daddy daycare going on right now.
In 2020, we have the kids in the background. We are on Zoom. The kids are running in the background. This is a snapshot of 2020.
Right.
But anyway, so setting a schedule, consistency is key, and you don't want to wait for motivation to strike to get things done. So pick a chunk of time where you can do something, set that schedule and just do it. The second part of that is to keep things simple. I think a lot of times people come in with these high hopes. They haven't done anything the previous year. They come into the new year, they have the resolution, they look at Instagram, they look at YouTube, they look at what all these super fit people are doing, and then they go, okay, well, I'm going to try that. And they might say, I'm going to work out 4 days a week. I'm going to do these hour-long workouts. I'm going to commit to all this stuff. And then they don't succeed because it's way too much. So keeping it simple, not only setting the schedule, but setting a time frame that is absolutely manageable and actually starting with something that you would look at and go, that's not much. Don't worry about it. You can build on that later. But right now you're just trying to build the foundation, set that foundation, and check those things off your list like it was brushing your teeth or whatever. And then the third one is utilize the resources around you, because we can try to do it on our own, but having help from somebody else. So either get a friend who has similar goals that you can work out with, that if you can't do it in person and go on a walk, then join a Zoom class or something. Or if you want the free resources, you can go on YouTube and find any number of free at home, 20, 30-minute workouts. And if that doesn't work, then you can certainly hire somebody to help you, like somebody like Andrew or myself, to have that extra motivation, because there's nothing more motivating than putting your money down and being accountable to, I spent my money on this, I have to get it done. So set the schedule, whatever you do, keep it simple, and then find help.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I like that. And I think that, going back to your first point, one thing that we've talked to our clients about is, don't focus on motivation, right? Because you're never going to be fully motivated, right? There's going to be days where it's cold or it's rainy and you're just not going to be motivated. But instead, I like what you said, like focus on small actionable steps that you can take to build momentum. And then you're going to get motivated from that, right? Like it's something as simple as, hey, I just did a 5-minute yoga thing on demand. Awesome, right? And just slowly build on that until you're starting to see some results. And then that's going to give you that motivation that you're looking for. And so that's one thing that, we definitely talk to our members about is, don't focus on the motivation, but instead focus on the momentum. Yeah. And then keeping it simple and fun and I think are also two good, kind of go hand in hand. But because if you're doing something that you don't like to do, you're not going to continue to do it, right? So I often get the question of what type of exercise should I be doing? And I often say, well, it's the one that you're going to stick with. As much as we're believers and everyone can get stronger and we're going to lift weights and things like that, if you don't like to lift weights and you'd rather go for a run or for a hike, then go for a run or a hike. I mean, if it's something that you're going to continue to do is going to be the best thing for you, and then, I think, finding some accountability, whether it's friends or family or a coach or whoever it may be, is going to be a big thing. Especially when we're stuck at home all day and we don't necessarily have that accountability, right? So even part of that social aspect, right? And finding, I think it's really hard for a lot of people to get healthy and fit on their own, right? And it's much easier to do it from a social aspect than it is from a kind of on your own by yourself aspect.
Yeah, and I found with my clients that they're even busier now than they were before the shelter in place, which seems crazy, but there were these built-in breaks in your day where you could have had a long commute. I mean, living in the Bay Area, I had plenty of clients with an hour and a half long commute into the South Bay. And, 3 hours out of their day were spent in the car, but that was downtime. That was 3 hours of, yes, they were sitting in the car and doing nothing, but they could have been listening to music, listening to a podcast, whatever. The kids go off to school or daycare and everyone kind of goes their separate ways, does their own thing. And it could be stressful. And then, maybe as you're heading out the door, you would go to the gym first and then you would go to work, or you would stop at the gym on your way home. But now, since a lot of people, if they're working remotely, the kids are doing remote learning, that there aren't any breaks. There are no breaks. And so for the clients that I've worked with, they're like, this workout that we're doing via Zoom are literally sometimes the only breaks that I have. And so that's where the accountability aspect really comes in, because yes, there are free resources. There's more resources than ever to work out at home. It's simpler than ever to work out at home. It's sometimes cheaper than ever to work out at home. But that means that since you have all these resources thrown at you, it's up to you to get it done. And that's what makes it difficult. So, and then we're separated. There's not that built-in community. So to find resources like, the online Zoom workouts that both our gyms offer and a lot of gyms are offering now, it's like, oh my gosh, I get to see some people that aren't my coworkers, that aren't, demanding things of me. It's just, I can just sit down with some friends, some peers, we can chit chat a little bit, we can get some work done. And, they're making it work within the limitations of kind of this environment that we live in now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, along that point, one thing that we've heard a lot is with our members working from home, it's, they've found it's much easier for them, or for their companies, for example, to throw, meetings on their schedules, and then for them to work like a 12-hour straight day, whereas they don't have even like something as simple as like a lunch break built in. They're like working through lunch now, and they're doing things like that. So having those built-in breaks is crucial. And even if, one thing we talk about is, even if you can just get up and go for a quick little walk, for 5-10 minutes, get up, do something just to, give your mind a little bit of a break. I think could do a lot. Even, I think most importantly, probably for mental health, than anything, because I think that's one thing that is talked about, but hasn't really been talked about much during these last 9 months to a year, is kind of the mental health aspect of this, and how we need to spend some time focusing on that, and investing in our health is a big way we can do that. So give me kind of like maybe an extra little bonus tip, something that we don't really have really talked about right now, that someone's like something that's actionable that they can implement into their year in 2021, that you can help that can help them kind of see some awesome results.
That's a good question. I'll have to take a second to think about that. But actually, it's funny when you said that, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't have a fourth thing. But the first thing that popped into my head was sleep. Sleep. Because we are on our screens more than ever. We are absolutely connected. Like you said, we are jam-packed. We're booked. Hop off one Zoom meeting, jump on another one. Then you're back into doing your work. Then the kids need help with their remote learning on their computers. And we have so much screen time that now it's like we're just getting blasted with light 24/7. And so, certainly that's why getting outside and getting some fresh air is good. But also at the end of your day, and certainly now it's harder because, with daylight savings, it's darker earlier. I've even found for myself that, that my sleep quality isn't as good. And then when I wake up the next morning, I'm feeling a little bit achy. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling irritable, then that extends out to, my wife, my kid, just different parts of my day. And so the number one recovery tool is sleep, getting quality sleep at the end of the day. And so then it makes everything else that much easier, because then you can start the day refreshed, whatever, I could have said, oh, write it down, or write down your goals, or things like that. But those are still habits. Those are still new behaviors that you need the willpower to force yourself to do. But if you're tired, all of that goes out the window. And so just take a break from the screen time, play with your kids, go on an evening walk, let the sun, and yes, it's cold. I get it. It's cold. That's why we invented clothes and gloves. Like, get outside, see your breath, let the dark kind of get your body into with those natural rhythms, and just, dim the lights a little bit, and just curl up with a nice blanket and just get some quality sleep and wake up refreshed the next day. And you will feel so much better. So much better.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I think, along that point, I think it's often something that people don't think about in terms of how bad their sleep quality really is. Like, one thing that we've started doing in all of our members' programs is we actually have them rate on a scale of one to 5, 5 different things. And one of them is sleep. So it's like sleep, water, food, stress, and energy. How are they feeling? And every day they come in, or virtually every day, we check in with them. Hey, how was your sleep on a 1 to 5? How was it last night? And then we keep track of that. So when we can look back in a year or in a month and go, oh man, I really didn't make much progress this month, or I don't feel like I made much progress. We can look back and go, well, you rated yourself like a 1 or a 2, like every single time you came on sleep. Exactly. That's a huge component of recovery. That's why you're feeling sluggish when you're waking up and you're not feeling like you're recovering from your workouts. Let's focus on that, right? Like I can write you the best program in the world, and I can,
Yeah.
I can put whatever, sets and rep scheme together for anything, but none of that's going to help if you're not sleeping well. And so I think that's a huge one. And I think, one thing that we found is, like personally, that, my wife and I have found is, yeah, trying to cut the screen time off, especially for our daughter, like an hour before bed. And like, we're going to go read books and we're going to just play. And then even for her and I, it's like, hey, as much as we want to binge watch, that Netflix series, like we're going to just go read a book instead. Right. And just to try to let your mind kind of relax. And we found that has helped, at least me personally, helped with my sleep quality, especially, and I know you as well, as, because we're putting in long hours, right? So it's, we're up early, and we're going to bed late. So it's like the time that you do have to sleep, you have to make the most of it, and you do that, by, setting up some good habits to increase your quality of sleep, as well.
Yeah. And when it comes to this time of year, because you have something like alcohol, alcohol does make you feel tired. However, it inhibits your ability to get in that deep REM sleep. So yes, you could drink all you want and pass out, but it's not going to be restful sleep. Not that you want to drink that much anyway to get to that point, but the point is, right, it limits your ability to get in that deep restful sleep. So, even just with the shelter in place and people maybe self-medicating a little bit too much, and then you go into the holidays, now we're drinking even more alcohol. And then also on the other end of it, when you are sleep deprived, fat metabolism goes down. So you're less likely to burn fat when you have a lack of sleep, because now your body is, it's in survival mode. I wasn't able to recover overnight, so we're not going to burn fat. We're going to conserve that resource. And then on the other side of things is that since you're conserving the fat, your body craves carbohydrates more. And so here we go. We got the cakes, we have the cookies.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that people don't talk about. And honestly, I'm just guessing on this. I don't know the science, or if there is any science, but going right into having shorter days, longer nights, it's darker, it throws off our natural sleep patterns, because, when the sun was going down at around 9 o'clock or 9:30, we go, okay, well, I'm going to be up for maybe another hour or so. Now it's like, what time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 7 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to keep myself up. And then with the extra alcohol, the extra kind of refined carbohydrates and sugary things, it's just at the end of this year, I think it all kind of comes together and people just don't feel great.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
And certainly if you didn't have a great diet before, maybe not great sleep habits, that it just kind of gets even worse at the end of the year. So that come January 1st, people are just like, I feel awful. I have to absolutely do something about this.
Right.
And we all go through it. But, if you are going into every single day tired, you're already starting a couple of steps behind. And so getting that really high quality sleep, shutting off the screens, getting into bed, surprise, surprise, maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And getting, even if it's 30, 45 minutes of extra sleep, it doesn't have to be crazy, that you're going to feel so much better. Your body's going to work better. Your body's going to feel better. Your mind is going to function better. Your mood isn't going to swing as much. You're not going to be as irritable. There's so many benefits to just getting better quality sleep. And I think now, since people are just jam-packed with their work and life schedules, that's the thing that gets pushed to the side. And the good thing is you can literally try it tonight. You can do it at the end of the day today.
Yeah, no. And I think along that point, I was having a conversation with Amanda, and we were talking about, like, especially like during these holiday seasons and everything going on, right? It's so stressful but like, what are the things that you can control, right? And focus on, like, for example, you know, these last couple of weeks have been super crazy busy. So like personally, I haven't been able to get in the workouts that I've personally wanted to get in. So, but then it's like, okay, well, what can I still focus on? Like, I can still focus on eating good, right? As best as possible, right? I can still focus on making sure I'm plenty hydrated and getting my water in. I can still focus on getting my sleep. And so those are things that you can control. And even when, you know, things get crazy and schedules get hectic, you know, those are the things that are still in your control. And if you know, kind of the whole idea of like control the controllables, right? Like you can focus on these 3 or 4 things of, you know, food, water, sleep, making sure you're doing your best out of all of those. You may not be able to get in a really, you know, kick-ass solid workout. Maybe it's only 10 minutes. Like, it's still going to be better than nothing. You're still going to see the results that you want because you're focusing on the things that you can control. And especially in a time when it's super stressful, you know, if you can take those other things off your plate, then you don't have to worry about that stuff. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
No, I think this was awesome. I think that we had some really awesome tips and some actionable stuff that you know, hopefully some you know, busy adults in the Tri-Valley can implement this year to make 2021. I think we all are hopeful for a different 2021 than 2020 was, but this was awesome. So quick recap, if I know we jammed out a little bit longer than, but if we can quick recap and remember what our 3 tips were, and then we'll sign off from there.
Yeah. So the first one is set a schedule, make it consistent. The next one was whatever you do, keep it simple. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Even if it's just a small chunk of time, just do it and get it done. And then the last one is find that thing that's going to keep you accountable, whether it's finding help from a friend, finding help from a trainer, or just investing money into it. That's my son there. And then the last one is make sure that you get high quality sleep. Absolutely.
All right. And before we sign off, if you know, hopefully we're going to get a ton of people in the Tri-Valley listening to this podcast. But for someone who's interested in learning a little bit more about you and 3 Strong, where are the best places for them to go?
Yeah, certainly they can go to my website at 3strong.com. That just kind of has the basic information, but if they want kind of more fitness, health tips, they can check out my YouTube channel at 3 Strong. So it's the number 3 Strong, one word, 3 Strong videos on YouTube. They can go on my Instagram page. Honestly, with the craziness of 2020 in the beginning, I kind of stepped back from social media to let the world argue over whatever they're going to argue about. And so my Instagram page isn't completely updated, but there is good information on there. And that is just 3 Strong Fitness on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate the time, Rob, and I'm sure we'll definitely hop on this again and jam out on some more topics later on in the year. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys have any questions, anything that you guys would love us maybe in the future to talk about, don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below on the podcast or even in the YouTube channel here. And we will definitely get to those in the future. All right. So we will see you guys next week for another episode of Prodigy's Simply Fit. All right. Have a good one, guys.